In this video, we'll talk about how we can create a CRUD service and connect our local Springboot application to Firebase and do some operations on top of the data which we have stored in Firebase and Firestore. So welcome to the fourth video, where we almost finish building up our CRUD API using Firebase and Springboot. And once we get done with this, we will have a fully functional CRUD API application up and running, which contacts Firebase. So let's get started and let's start implementing our CRUD service, where we actually use the Firebase APIs and connect to our database and do a bunch of stuff. So let's start implementing. So first we implement our create APIs. So let's start with that. So we have Firestore db Firestore is equal to, let's import the classes which we want. So it says no Firestore is available. Oh, my bad, I should spell it right. Yep, great. So we have Firestore, db Firestore, and we use the Firestore client dot get Firestore. And since we have already configured our application using the service account key, we don't have to worry about authorization anymore. Our app is automatically authorized. So that's a great thing to need to know. Let's have some boilerplate code here. So collections API feature, and this is going to be equal to db.fb db Firestore.collection. So which database are we trying to get our data from? So this is basically our database inside Firestore. So if you go inside that and if you see our collection, so we have two collections here. The first collection was made before the videos users, and we are using CRUD underscore user. So let's call this CRUD underscore user. So inside this particular collection, we want to create a document. So we do document, and here we create our document. So let's actually create it. So we do CRUD.get name, and we do a set, and it's a pojo. So we have our CRUD name right here. And now that we've actually set or committed to our database, let's send back the time when we did this, when we get the result back. So, and we'll convert that to a string. So return collections API feature dot get, right? So we do a get update time dot to string, and here we have created our create CRUD, or implemented our create CRUD functionality. So what's happening here? So first we connect to our database using our credentials, which is happening behind the scenes when we initialize or we get the Firestore from our account. The next thing that's happening is we're using API features to actually connect to our CRUD user and then just do a set of CRUD, and that's basically as simple as it can get when it comes to implementing our API. The next thing would be to implement get. So once we have created it, we need to get it. So let's actually implement our get API, and let's see how that works out for us. So how do we get it? So the first thing which we do is the same as create CRUD. So we connect it here. You can obviously abstract it out inside CRUD service, but let's just use it for easier purposes here. So we do a document reference. So basically look up inside our document and which document are we trying to reference, right? So we db Firestore dot collections again, give it a collection. So user underscore name, and we do document, and we want it by document ID. So document ID, and that's how we want our document. So once we get our document reference, the next thing which we want to do is actually get it from the API. So for that, we'll be using API future document snapshot. So document snapshot, and this is going to be a future value which you're going to get from document reference dot get. Awesome. So now we have a snapshot, and from the snapshot we want our from the API feature we want our document snapshot. So let's quickly write the code for that. So this goes away. We have our document snapshot, not a feature that we want, and this is going to be our document, and we are basically going to do what we did above. So we do a future.get. So as you can see, a lot of abstractions that we have to deal with here. Add the exceptions, and yep. Now once we get the document from Firebase, we need to convert it to a plain old Java object, so Pojo, right? So let's do that now. So let's have a CRUD app, and the next thing which we have to do is check if the document exists. So if document dot exists, then what do? We do CRUD is equal to document dot to object. Pretty simple. CRUD dot class, and that way we return CRUD. Perfect. And if it doesn't exist, then we return null. So that's basically how it usually is. So we first connect to our Firebase client, and then we connect to our Firestore client, and then we get our document, we get the document reference, the snapshot, and then the document snapshot back from the API feature. We convert our document inside to object from a Pojo, and then we send it back to the user. So that's how we implement the get CRUD API. More information can definitely be found on the website in the description below. And let's implement delete. So once we get our data, we can delete it. So how do we delete it? Again, pretty much the same as before, but slight changes. So let's talk about them. So instead of doing a document, we do a document ID, a name, so ID dot delete, and as simple as that, we are good to go. And we don't have to do anything else here. So this is just going to be write result, spell that correctly, and this is going to be API future write result, which we get back, right? And the next thing which we have to send is basically the document ID. So successfully deleted space document ID, and yep, we are good to go with delete as well. So this is how we implement delete, get, and create. So let's quickly see if we have something here. So we have a document ID as user_1. So when we do a get after running this, we should be able to get that back, and it should be converted into a Pojo, giving us so what is it giving us? It's giving us document ID, name, and profession. So we should get that back when we run it. So let's run it and see what happens. Do we actually get it back or not? So this is going to be CRUD user, my bad. Again, CRUD user, because that is what we have our collection as. And let's run the app and see what's happening. Let's open up Postman as well, so that we can do our queries and our API, hit our APIs. So we have that here. Pretty interesting thing. And let's wait for the server and Postman to be up and running. It always says a few minutes, but never actually takes a few minutes. So that way, you expect that you're expecting it to be minutes, but they give it to you in seconds, and you get this dopamine hit that Postman is fast. So that's how they get to you. But anyway, apart from that, we have our server running, We have Postman setting up, so it actually is taking minutes. That is weird. So we have some time till our server runs, and until then Postman hopefully should be up. If not, then we can obviously use, we're doing a get call, right? So we just use the browser for that. But let's give Postman some time. The server is up and running, so yep, Postman is also up and running, and it did take some time to do this. So what are we doing here? So we're doing a get CRUD, right? So let's quickly see that inside our controller. So we are doing /create. Okay, we're just doing a /get. No, a get CRUD. So we do a get, and here the key is going to be document ID, and the value is going to be what? User underscore one. User underscore. And this, when we do a get on this, we should be getting back our data. So document ID is not present. Okay, I get what's wrong here. Let me quickly fix that. So close this down, go to inside CRUD, and this is document ID. So what was the issue? It gave a bad request, right? And what was the bad request? Request string parameter document ID is not present. So it needs a string parameter which was not present. So CRUD controller document ID. Oh, my bad. I think I know what I did wrong. Yep, I just spelled it wrong. So let's run the server again. It should be up because we didn't do any changes. And all you have to do is this have to be document ID. My bad. And almost we are good. We're done. Server is up. Do a send. And let's see what's up. So initially it does take some time, and as you can see we have our Ronak Vyas and freelancer professor here. So perfect, it was working, and the next thing which we need to do is implement our update API and also test our application and see if it's working perfectly or not. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.